Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So with hundreds of different credit cards out there and thousands of advertisements that you see on a daily basis, from Google ads to TV promotions and even targeted offers that you may receive in the mail, it can be overwhelming to know which credit cards are actually right for you, but actually making sure you get a good credit card, because sometimes if you're not careful, you may actually end up getting a credit card that appears to be good but is actually a really bad credit card. And that's why in today's video I'm going to be showing you 5 of the best credit cards that you can have in your wallet going into 2023 if you're someone who wants to maximize your everyday spending so you can earn things like cash back, rewards points, other cool benefits, and then free travel as well. The first card up on this list is going to be the Chase Freedom Flex. This card is going to be really good no matter where you are in your credit card journey. If you're someone who's just getting started, or even if you're someone who's been in the credit card game for quite some time now and you're just looking for a really good card to add to your collection, then this one is definitely going to be a really good option for you. With this card, you're going to be getting a $200 cashback sign-up bonus after you spend $500 within the first 3 months of opening your account. At the time of filming this video, Chase is also giving you 5% back on groceries for the first $12,000 spent within that first year of account opening as well, which is going to be really good, because if you do max out that spending category, that's potentially $600 cash back that you're going to get from that. Just to mention really quickly, Chase does change that offer from time to time. I've seen one for gas before as well. At the current time of filming this video, it is going to be towards groceries on the first $12,000 spent in that category for that year. Side of that, this card is going to earn you 5% cash back on rotating quarterly categories. It's going to give you 5% back on travel booked through the Chase Ultimate Travel Portal, as well as 3% back on dining, takeout, and drugstore purchases, and then 1% back on everything else. That 5% back on rotating quarterly categories is going to work is Chase is going to send you an email each quarter with the categories for that particular quarter, and then you'll just go ahead and opt into whichever one you choose, and then you're going to be getting 5% cash back on the first $1,500 spent in that category. After that, or you're going to be earning 1% back on everything else, and outside of that category you're also still earning 1% back, except for dining, takeout, and drugstores where you're getting 3% cash back. The cool thing to see with this card is that Chase gives you trip interruption insurance. So when you use the Freedom Flex to pay for a prepaid non-refundable trip, you're eligible for up to $1,500 per person and $6,000 per trip of reimbursement for things like unforeseen sickness, illness that may have interrupted, canceled, or delayed your travel. The things that I really like about this card is going to be that it is going to be a very simple, easy to use, straightforward cashback card that is just going to be a great addition to your wallet, giving you that 5% back on rotating categories. Now, for the cons of this card, there's really only 2 that I have. And the first one is going to be that outside of those categories, you're only earning 1% cash back on everything else, which is a little bit low compared to some of the other cards on the market and some of the other cards we actually have on this list. Con that I have is going to be that this does have a foreign transaction fee of 3%. So if you're looking for a card to use for international travel, I would recommend that you still get this card because it is a great earning card, but I wouldn't recommend that you use it internationally because those 3% foreign transaction fees can add up really quickly. For the next card up on this list, we have the Chase Freedom Unlimited. So with this card, you're still going to be earning the 3% back on dining and takeout, as well as drugstore purchases like you are with the Freedom Flex. But this card is going to also be giving you unlimited 1.5% cash back on everything else that you purchase outside of those categories. So when you combine this with that Freedom Flex, you're now getting anywhere between 1.5% to 5% cash back on everything you're purchasing. The other reason why these two work so well together is because that cash back that you're earning is going to be in the form of Chase Ultimate Reward points. I do want to mention that the Chase Freedom Unlimited Unlimited is also going to give you the same initial welcome offer of $200 back after you spend $500 within the first 3 months of account opening, as well as at the time of filming this video, it does have the same welcome initial offer of 5% back on groceries in that first year, like the Freedom Flex does as well. Now, the other reason why these two cards work so well together is because that cash back that you're going to be earning is going to be in the form of something called Chase Ultimate Reward Points. Now, with those Chase Ultimate Reward Points, what you can do is you can actually use those to be redeemed as a statement credit in the form of cash back, where you can use that to cover some of your charges or use it towards your bill for that month. If you choose to redeem them for cashback value, you're going to be getting a redemption value of 1 cent per point, which is still a very solid redemption, and it's a lot better than some of the other cards that you'll see on the market. The way that I actually recommend that you use these points and to get the best value is going to be using them for travel. Now, what I would recommend doing is combining these two cards with another card, and this is going to be a bonus card for this list, and that's going to be the Chase Sapphire Preferred. So this card is going to give you a 60,000 point sign-on bonus after you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months of account opening. It gives you the same 5% back on travel when you book through the Chase travel portal. It's going to give you 3% back on dining and takeout, as well as 3% back on online grocery, plus 1% back on everything else. Now, the thing that makes this card so great to combine with the other two Chase cards is it forms something known as the Chase Trifecta. So the way that the Chase Trifecta works is you're going to be doing all of your spending on the first two Chase cards, which are going to be the Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited. That way you're getting 1.5% to 5% cash back in the form of those rewards points on everything that you're purchasing. Now, what you're going to do then is actually transfer those points over to the Sapphire Preferred card. And in doing that, if you book travel through the Chase travel portal with that Sapphire Preferred, you're actually going to be able to get those points redeemed at an extra 25% value, which is going to be really, really good. Taking the 20,000 points sign-on bonus that we earned from each of those no annual fee Chase cards, combining them with the 60,000 point sign-on bonus that we got from the Sapphire Preferred, gives us 100,000 Chase Ultimate Reward Points. Now, normally, if you didn't have that Sapphire Preferred, those points would be worth about $1,000 for travel. However, since you're using that Sapphire Preferred and getting the extra 25% bonus, those points can actually be worth up to $1,250 when used for travel with the Chase travel portal. Chase Trifecta is actually going to be one of the most popular setups that you'll see in the credit card market, as well as one of my favorite personal setups for free travel. Make this video all just about Chase, and that's why the Sapphire Preferred is just a bonus card on this list. However, I do want to briefly mention that the Sapphire Preferred is going to have a $95 annual fee. However, you do get a $50 annual hotel credit that can be used when you book a prepaid hotel through the Chase travel portal, effectively only making that annual fee $45, which is really good for the value you get with this card. It also does give you some other cool benefits such as insurance and coverage. It does also have no foreign transaction fees, so that makes it really good for international use, and that's why it's a great beginner travel card. With the Sapphire Preferred, you get 1-to-1 transfer rate for Chase travel partners. If you were to find a cheaper hotel booking or cheaper flight booking from one of the Chase travel partners, you can actually take those points from your Chase cards, transfer them out to an eligible partner through the Sapphire Preferred at a 1-to-1 rate. Doing this allows you sometimes to get anywhere from 1 cent per point up to 1.5, and I've even seen 2 cents per point for travel doing it that way, making it one of the best travel setups on the credit card market. Now, moving up to the next card on this list, we have the Amazon Prime Rewards Visa card. This card is going to be really, really good if you're one of the millions of people that have Amazon Prime. This card does come with no annual fee. However, you do still have to pay for Amazon Prime to get the full benefit of this card, making it like it has an annual fee, but I still believe it's a really good value for anyone who shops on Amazon frequently with Prime. This card, you're gonna get $100 automatically deposited into your Amazon account after account opening with the card. So no need to spend anything. You're just getting that free $100 deposited into your Amazon Prime account. With this card, every time you shop on Amazon using the Prime, you're gonna be getting 5% back with the card. card, as well as 5% back at Whole Foods because Whole Foods is owned by Amazon. Now, the really cool thing with this card is it's not like most other store cards where you can only use it at Amazon. Actually use it outside of Amazon. And when you use it outside of those two, you still get a really good 2% back on restaurant purchases as well as gas station purchases. So it makes it a very good, well-rounded card, getting 5% back on Amazon Prime purchases, 5% back on Whole Foods, and still being able to get the 2% back on gas stations and restaurants, and you get 1% back on everything else as well. This card does also have no foreign transaction fees, making it another really good card to have, especially if you're planning on doing some international travel and maybe you don't have a card that already has no foreign transaction fees with it. Now, next up on this list, we have one of my new favorite cards and what I think could be one of the absolute best cards of 2023, and that's gonna be the Capital One Venture X. Now, this is gonna be Capital One's premium travel card. And yes, while Capital One is definitely newer to having a premium travel card, I think they're doing some really amazing things with this card. And I'll tell you why I think it could be the best card of 2023. So first of all, this card is gonna give you a 75,000 point sign-on bonus after you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months of account opening. So that gives you a value of up to $750 when you're booking travel with it. Now, next up, this card is gonna give you unlimited 10% back when you book rental cars and hotels through the Capital One travel portal. It's also gonna give you unlimited 5% back when you book flights through the Capital One travel portal. And outside of that, it's gonna give you unlimited 2% back on everything else. Now, with this card, everything you're gonna be earning is gonna be in the form of Capital One miles. Now, you can use those miles for either a statement credit in the form of cash back, where you can get reimbursed for some of your charges on the card, or you can use it towards some of your bill for that month, or how we always talk about doing it on this channel is going to be using those miles for free travel, and that's how you're going to get the best value out of them. So by doing it this way, you can go through the Capital One travel portal and you can redeem these miles at a value of 1 cent per mile through the travel portal, or you can transfer them out at a 1-to-1 transfer rate to any one of Capital One's supported travel partners. And by doing that, sometimes you can actually get value of anywhere between 1 cent per mile and sometimes even 2 cents per mile, depending on who you're booking with, especially if you're using them for international flights. And that's gonna be how you get the best value out of a card like this. With this card, it's also gonna give you a $100 credit that you can use towards TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. A little hack is actually to go for Global Entry because it also gives you TSA PreCheck with that as well. Also, we're gonna get unlimited access for you and up to 2 guests to over 1,300 travel lounges, including Capital One partner lounges. This card does also give you a free Priority Pass membership. Now, here's what's actually gonna separate the Capital One Venture X apart from its other 2 main competitors, those being the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the American Express Platinum. So this card has a $395 annual fee, which is already going to be $200 less than the Chase Sapphire Reserve and $300 less than the American Express Platinum. But with this card, you also get an annual $300 travel credit, as well as an annual 10,000 mile anniversary bonus, which is valued at $100. So Capital One is giving you $400 a year to have this card, which has a $395 annual fee. So effectively, Capital One is actually paying you $5 to have this card. Really good thing that I like about this card and what separates it from the other 2 competitors that we talked about is this is going to be a very straightforward, easy to use travel card. Something like the American Express Platinum is going to be really good for someone who travels a bunch throughout the year and someone who does a lot of international travel. Who do I recommend this card for? Honestly, I would recommend everybody have this card if you can. If you're someone who travels multiple times a year, internationally or domestically, or even if you're just someone who travels a handful of times throughout a year, you're going to be able to get really good value out of this card. Having the lounge access is going to be really, really nice, with Capital One adding a bunch of different lounges on a yearly basis, as well getting those $400 in credits a year. And you don't have to do anything to actually get those credits. They're very simple to get. Capital One is just giving you $400 a year for this card, and they're very easy to use credits. You don't have to go out of your way to actually get the value out of this card, which is why I think that this card is going to be the best card of 2023 and why it's one of my new personal favorites. Last card up on this list, we have the American Express Gold Card. With the American Express Gold Card, you'll typically find a 60,000 point sign-on bonus after you spend $4,000 within the first 6 months of account opening. Dig around a few times, or if you go into Google under incognito mode, sometimes you can find a sign-on bonus of up to 75,000 points after that 4,000 spend within 6 months. But the typical sign-on bonus you'll see with this card is going to be the 60,000 points after you spend 4,000 within the first 6 months. It's going to get you 4% back on dining, takeout, and grocery store purchases. It gets you 3% back on airline tickets purchased either through the American Express travel portal or directly from the airline themselves. And then you're going to be getting 1% back on everything else. Really quickly, I do just want to mention that with this card, the 4% back on groceries is going to exclude your big chains like Walmart, Costco, and Target, but still you're getting 4% back on groceries, which is a really, really good value out of this card. Annual fee, this card does come with an annual fee of $250. However, we're actually going to talk about how you can offset that annual fee. This card is going to give you 2 yearly credits. Both of these are going to be $120. So you're going to get a $120 credit for Uber Eats or Uber, and you're going to get a $120 dining credit. Now these credits are paid out in the form of $10 each month in the form of statement credits. So with that dining credit, you're going to get a $10 statement credit each month to use at places like Cheesecake Factory, Grubhub, and select Shake Shack locations. And then for that $120 Uber credit, it's going to be a $10 credit deposited into your Uber account each month when you link up your gold card, and you can use that for things like Uber rides or Uber Eats. Now these are going to be use it or lose it credits, meaning if you don't use them each month, they just disappear. However, if you do use both of these credits each month, that's $240 per year, which then effectively makes the annual fee of this card only $10 per year, which is really good value. With the points that you earn with this card, you have a few different ways of using them. The first way is going to be using them for travel through the American Express travel portal. If you use the points for travel through the American Express travel portal, you're going to get roughly about 1 cent per point value out of them. The second way is you can use them to cover your purchases. Now this is actually going to be the worst way to use your American Express points, in the way that I would avoid using it at all costs, because if you use them to cover your purchases, you're only getting about half a cent per point out of it. So that 60,000 point sign-on bonus, if you use it to book travel through the American Express travel portal, it's valued at about $600. If you're using it to cover your charges on your card, it's only worth about $300. So you're not getting really good value out of it, at least not as good as you could be getting. Now, the next way to use this card and its points is actually transferring them out to an airline partner or a hotel partner. So you can go on to American Express's website and view their list of partners that they have, and you can transfer these points out to one of those partners. Now, doing this is typically how you get the best value out of the American Express points, because doing it that way, you're going to get anywhere between a 1 cent to 1.5 cent per point valuation, meaning those 60,000 points that we got for the sign-on bonus could either be worth $600 on the low end or up to $900 on the high end. Something else I'd like to mention is with the American Express, you're also getting trip insurance, you're getting rental car insurance, and you're getting no foreign transaction fees like the Capital One Venture X and some of the other cards that we have on this list, which is going to make it another really good addition to pair with all those other cards, giving us no foreign transaction fees so we can use it for international travel. That's going to be it for today's video. Those are going to be 5 of the best credit cards that I think everybody should have in their wallet going into 2023 that are going to give you the best value for your money. If there's any credit cards that I didn't mention on this list, or some other credit cards you'd like me to make a video on, be sure to let me know by dropping a comment down below. If you did find this video informative and enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like down below, as it helps out the channel a ton. If you're interested in more videos where I talk about credit card tips and personal finance tips, make sure to hit the subscribe button while you're down there and turn on the post notification so you never miss a new video. If you're interested in my previous video where I talked about how to get a high limit Navy Federal credit card, make sure to hit the card up in the top right corner. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for watching today, and I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day.